The arms deal corruption trial of former President Jacob Zuma and French arms dealer Thales. The corruption case has already been postponed twice because of former President Jacob Zuma's ill health. Zuma and Thales are facing charges of corruption, racketeering and money laundering in connection with the 1999 arms deal. It remains unclear whether the former president, who was released on medical parole earlier this month, will be present in court. Our reporter Ayanda Mhlongo is there and she joins us now. Ayanda, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Just describe the mood for us. What do you see, and are there any Zuma supporters? Do we know at this particular point whether Mr. Zuma himself will be there to attend to his trial?
A very good morning to you, Simpiwe, and good morning to our viewers at home. Well, let me start by giving our viewers just a picture of what is happening outside. As you have said there, Simpiwe, in your introduction, that there is indeed a heavy police presence outside the entire precinct of the court, and people who are coming in and out of the court are being strictly monitored inside the actual courtroom where the matter is going to sit this morning in Court A. Those that are going to be part of the proceedings or listening in the proceedings have had to apply for accreditation. Of course, that's also to ensure that the numbers of people that are inside the court are also restricted to those that are permitted under the COVID-19 regulations. But outside the court building, a heavy police presence. In terms of supporters, we're not expecting that there was going to be any supporters today. Simpiwe, of course, as former President Jacob Zuma is not expected to be in a court due to his ill health. In fact, as we understand, the latest was that he was still in hospital, so we're uncertain as yet whether or not he has been discharged from the hospital. But today he is not expected to be in court. But simply what we can tell you, what is happening has been quite interesting that has happened here is the arrival of the outgoing National Commissioner of Correctional Services, Mr. Arthur Fraser, accompanied by former President Jacob Zuma's previous legal counsel, Advocate Masugu, and so we tried to get a word from both gentlemen on why they are here today, neither of them wanting to comment, but we do understand that this could mean that Mr. Fraser might have to give testimony today in court, and he is possibly going to be represented by Advocate Masugu. So that is what we saw. I beg your pardon, Advocate Moses Kakane. So that is what happened outside the courtroom. That they arrived about 30 minutes or so ago, and then we saw them moving towards the judges' chambers. We also had an opportunity earlier on, Simpiwe, to speak to the NPA's Advocate Mthunzi in terms of what can be expected today. We know that in court today, the special a plea application was set to be heard, and that is, of course, former President Jacob Zuma, who wants State Prosecutor Advocate Billy Downer to be recused from the case. The NPA telling us that they are ready to hear that application, and standing by what they've previously said is that they're going to vigorously oppose that application. Advocate Mhlongo saying that there is no basis for the application, and of course the arguments that have been put forth by former President Jacob Zuma's defense team. Another point that, of course, is related to that application is that former President Jacob Zuma has said that Advocate Billy Downer has no title to prosecute. In response, Advocate Mhlongo saying that Advocate Downer was authorized by the Director of Public Prosecution in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And so today they are gearing up and they are ready. Of course, what is likely to happen inside court, as we know, as I've said, that former President Jacob Zuma is not likely to be present in court today. And in the previous appearance, Judge Pietermaritzburg, who was the judge presiding over this trial, had said that if the defense team wants a postponement today, then there would have to be evidence that is going to be led by both former President Jacob Zuma's defense team and that of the state. So by seeing Mr. Fraser here, the outgoing National Commissioner of Correctional Services, we suspect that he could be here to, of course, possibly give evidence. As we know that former President Jacob Zuma fell ill while he was in the custody of Correctional Services, while he was incarcerated at the Escort Correctional Facility. But proceedings are expected to get underway this morning at 10 a.m. sharply. Simpiwe?
And Ayanda, I suppose then questions will be abound as to, will the involvement of the current prosecution team not infringe on former President Jacob Zuma's constitutional right to a fair trial, given the fact that Billy Downer, remember, was largely involved in the Shabri Sheikh case?
Well, in terms of these procedures and linked to these pre-trial matters that have been discussed in the previous two appearances, you'd note that the arguments on behalf of the state have been led by Advocate Wim Trentgrove and not Advocate Billy Downer. And so obviously the matter is around Advocate Billy Downer and former President Jacob Zuma, of course, accusing him of bias. And so as a result, these pre-trial matters relating to Advocate Billy Downer are being handled by Advocate Wim Trentgrove on behalf of the state. Simpura?
All right, and I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for that update. We'll touch base with you as soon as the court proceedings start. Ayanda Mhlongo there outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court, wherein the Billy Downer recusal case will be in progress from 10 a.m. Meanwhile, the